Book 1, Earth's Core Chapter 3, The Next 849 Years, Part 1. An hour after dawn left the three generals' tent. Big Brother, Second General and Third General said unanimously, "Be on your guard." First General respond. The three generals left their camp an hour ago and were already on the outskirts of Camp 372. The short time it took them to reach the camp is a testimony to their unrivaled power in the UGNE's army. Sensing the two beasts immense, all three generals become tense. It was like a vast mountain and far more than they expected. In a few steps the three generals stood before the two beasts. "Please forgive us for the delay. Welcome to our 372 camp." First generals greeted the beasts. To his left stood Third General and to his right Second General. The humanoid beast nodded its head. "Gratitude for seeing us. My name is Roma and this is my kin, Roken. The two of us are the leaders of the Silverhorn tribe, one of the 5 tribes entrusted with the outer territory." Roma's voice echoed in the three generals' heads. The three generals nodded in respect. "We three are the commanding generals of the UGNE, humanity's full force." Second General's entire figure embedded with her aura was like a mighty ice storm. Clearly the sight of the unconscious soldiers laying around infuriated her. Neither Roma nor Roken seemed to be affected by Second General's show of power. "The purpose of our visit is a proposal to humankind." Although Roma talked to all three generals, his attention was fixed on First General, whom he felt was slightly stronger than the other two, yet still not a threat toward him or Roken. "A proposal? Now, after all these years?" Third General showed a grin. "Is it a letter of surrender?" He tried to loosen up his big brother and big sister, even if by pissing them off with his attitude. They will get annoyed and then breathe out their tension, as always. As obvious as it was to him from the beginning that he is the weakest among all 5, in terms of quick thinking he was not inferior to his big brother, and in most games of chess that they played he was the winner. As Third General predicted, although the effect was more apparent on Second General, her aura turned to a warm breeze and was drawn back without her even responding to his, what could be considered in this situation, childish inquiry. "Ha ha ha." Roma laughed. "Indeed, you might as well just call it that." This time even Third General could not hide his surprise. "You wonder why?" he asked rhetorically. "If you don't care to explain." First General said, "Our war is hundreds of years old, and in the first place it was humans who started it. Currently it is no secret that our forces are the ones that being pushed back. What sort of benefit will you earn by surrendering? Does it matter? As long as you will comply with our demands and give humanity's word to forever honor them, the war can be over as soon as this very moment. Of course, only if you are truly authorities to make such decisions. Since when the surrendering side gives demands to, since it is unquestionably the stronger side." Roma interrupted Second General and said indefinitely, "Beside, these demands without a doubt will benefit your side far more than ours." Being unable to argue with Roma's first statement, Third General replied, "Is that so? Then please, tell us your demands." "Very well. First, humanity should fall back from the 2/3 of our outer territory, where the war took place. Second, you will no longer mine Earth's cores outside of the offered zone, while what you do in your territory is none of our business. These are our demands. We fought for hundreds of years and now you want it to be for nothing? It's too much. Elaborate on what you meant by offered zone. I'm guessing that it's that benefit you mentioned." First General said, "Indeed. And that offered zone was a notion of goodwill and an idea of my kin, Roken, therefore refer to it with respect." Roma's scales showed a hint of blue within their crimson cover. "Sorry, I know." He suddenly turned and told Roken, still sharing the telepathic link with the three generals. "The offered zones are 10 of our outer territory caves for 3 months of every year. All 10 considered as fields of Earth's cores, and since that was the purpose of your war all along, there are no reasons you should not be satisfied. How many Earth's core we will able to mine from these 10 fields?" Third General hurried to ask to obstruct any further comments from First General. The earth provides too many to count every year. Granted, you will have only 3 months per year to mine. How many is depend on you? Is that all? Third general wanted to confirm. It is. How long are you willing to wait for an answer? 1 more day. Then we shall meet here again tomorrow at the same time. Third general closed the session, and all that was left of the 3 generals were 3 after images. A few kilometers from Camp 372. The bubble will be set in a moment, Jid. 2 of the 3 generals sat in a small underground cave they dug with their hands. Inside the cave, first general moved his hands so fast a regular person would have probably only seen green flashes of his long military sleeves. He manipulated his aura into different shapes, and when he released, the complete form a bubble, 3 meters in diameter, surrounded him and the other 2 generals. It is safe to speak. He let them know and sat down. Impressive as always, Big Brother Ariel. Thank you for not rushing back to the UGNE's headquarters, Big Sister Threy. On their way back, Third General, Jid, asked First General, Ariel, and Second General, Threy, for a short stop. At first they were reluctant. Passing the beast's offer through long-term communication was out of the question. If someone will leech onto their wave, that would be troublesome, and to reach the UGNE's headquarters they needed at least 7 hours at their top speed, and their younger brother knew that as well. Knowing him, they allowed him 10 minutes before they set off again. What's on your mind, Jid? Threy asked. You know how slow the heads with their decisions making. If we waste time, we will have to challenge our limits when we get back to Camp 372. Then why should we? Jid's tone changed to rigid. What do you mean? Threy's brows touched each other. Although her father passed away long ago, she still did not want to sully his name as a UGNE's official. I don't mean to offend, Big Sister, but you, more than me and Big Brother, should know that the UGNE is no longer qualified to lead humanity. It is not our place, Ariel tried to say. Was it ever our place to fight the war we did not ask for when the actual people behind it have never stepped on the battlefield? Is it now our place to lead soldiers to a losing war? Tell me, Big Brother, Big Sister, do you think that we could take these 2 beasts with our formation? Jid. Both Ariel and Threy could not say anything. 50 years ago it finally happened. They crossed the core breaker's peak to a new level. And it was their one and only secret kept from the rest of humanity, and more importantly, the UGNE Mist Master. They gave the new level a fitting name. Their preview's auras more than multiplied in size and became denser. Their color, too, changed from the dark white of the core breaker's top to bright silver. It was thanks to Ariel's special developed technique that they were able to conceal these changes. In all of humanity these 3 were at the top. And when they received the order to cease fire they were delighted. Killing beasts that could not even put up a challenge to them was tasteless. When reading the restless aura of Dawn, a late-phase Earth's core holder, they were not sure about the 2 beasts' power levels. On the other hand, when meeting them face to face, Rayroma and Rorokan were 2 entities they did not expect to encounter. At the very least, both of them were at the late phase of the Mist Master level. After a long silence Jid continued. Maybe if they are not together we can exchange our lives for a mortal wound on one of them, but what will it produce? The loss of humanity's greatest powers. Us losing one another? Is this a fair exchange? It won't come to this. Threy grabbed Jid's arm. How certain are you? 820 years ago the UGNE lost a few Earth's core holders and a core breaker to 3 beasts. Do you remember what they did next? They created the Earth's core army and remodeled it for hundreds of years by sending its soldiers to war and learning from their deaths while depleting half of humanity's resources to keep the army going. What do you think will happen if the UGNE will challenge beasts like Rayroma and Rorokan? You heard them. They are merely 2 beasts that lead the same tribe, 1 out of 5 tribes that are entrusted over the beast's outer territory. I was skeptical even when our armies were pushed back, but now I'm certain, if the UGNE will look to renew the war, humanity will receive a crushing blow. That is only true if the UGNE won't accept the beast's offer. The war has been going for so long, and a week ago the first ceasefire was established. We cannot guess the UGNE's next step, but can give them some perspective," Ariel said. "And if they'll make the wrong choice?" Threy asked, agitated. "We will take over, big sister. The UGNE has 2 core breaker units." Threy sighed and said, half convinced. "They, too, will have to make the right choice," Ariel said, and got up. In the underground network of tunnels and giant caves, humanity's territory covered 539 caves, and the beast's territory covered 317 caves. The 10 most centered caves represented humanity's headquarters. 10 lances of fate they were called and numbered. The first lance of fate was the cave surrounded by the other 9 and where the actual headquarters buildings were located. At the last floor of a 40-story building was the UGNE's conference hall. On each of the 100 black leather seats sat either a 30 to 90 years old man or woman. In front each man and woman was a wooden table, on it were a glass of water, a bowl with a variety of fruits, a microphone and a gold name tag. All the black leather seats were directed to a square stage, 4 meters wide and long, and to 7 men and 3 women, 40 to 70 years old, who sat on 10 red leather high seats in front of blackwood tables with the same tributes. These 110 have been living in private rooms inside the 40-story building since their decision to cease fire. Honorable 110 leaders of the United Governments of New Earth. Entering are the respectable First General Ariel Douch, respectable Second General Threzo Arth and respectable Third General Jedchuda Kata. A 20-something man that entered the conference hall wearing a black suit stood on the square stage and announced. From the 110 seats some claps could be heard as 2 men and 1 woman in green military uniforms approached the stage from the hall's entrance. The announcer stepped down from the stage before the 3 generals took it. 3 generals, we, the United Governments of New Earth, thank you for your hard work. An old woman, wearing a black and blue gown, seated on one of the red leather seats, opened. The 3 generals bowed in unity. 110 leaders, we stand here today before you with urgent matters to discuss. First General said calmly, while some of the UGNE's leaders raised an eyebrow. Although these 3 generals were much older and powerful than any of them, none believed that against their UGNE even the 3 generals will dare come with such a statement. It was not their place. We have gathered here because we were informed that you, 3 generals, have arrived today with a message. A man wearing a pinstripe suit said. And that message is the matter we would like to discuss with you about. Third General answered and the bald man frowned. We would not advise you on military matters. Have you lost faith in us because we ordered a ceasefire? The old woman in the black and blue gown directed her question to Second General. Even though this old lady possessed an Earth's core, she did not spend a day in her life training. She was able to read the air around the 3 generals only with the help of her intuition. Instead of advices, you will order us your desires without being concerned with how we implement them. Third General snapped and behind him the 100 began to murmur. The order to cease fire was the smartest decision the United Governments of New Earth has made since it was established. After going so far, some of the leaders let their voices rise. How dare him, a mere general, to question us? Quiet. Seated on one of the red leather seats, a big bearded man in a brownish suit slammed the palm of his hand on the blackwood table and the hall fell silent. 3 generals, please tell us the message. The beasts seek to end the war. Third General summarized in order to see what kind of reaction these 110 will have. Specify. The bearded man immediately said. Crafty old man. Third General thought to himself and revealed the whole chain of events. So strong. Some said aloud. At least as strong as us 3. Second General answered. Not enough time. 2 men seated on the red leather seats said at once. If we won't give them an answer in a few hours, the offer will expire. Third General reminded. Still. One of the 2 said. We should put that to a vote. Someone from the black leather seats proposed. As far as the voting system of the UGNE goes, Black leather seats count for 1 vote and red leather seats count for 10 votes. A decision must have a majority of 90% of the votes. It won't do. Every decision must follow 24 hours of careful thinking and understanding of the subject in all its aspects. We still don't have the time. In truth, these 24 hours are spent on forming alliances for mutual or personal benefits. You have hundreds of years of sitting on the sidelines and watching this war. I would say that should suffice. Third General tried to provoke the men and women around him, and sure enough the hall became restless. We will decide now. The bearded man once again silenced the hall. He looked in resentment on Third General, for him to push them so far. Everyone, take 10 minutes to think and decide. Afterward we will vote by a show of hands. Nagasta, be prepared for the count. The bearded man told the young attendant that stood beside the stage. 10 minutes later, all 7 men and 3 women that sat on the red leather seats stood up. A woman in a red suite instructed. We will now vote over the beast's proposal. First vote will be for. Second vote will be against. The matter will be decided on a majority of 90%. All undecided votes will be counted as for. The last part was agreed by all 10 and had 2 objectives. First, to comply with what all 10 believed the 3 generals' opinion was, and second, to pass a silent message to all 100, we 10 are against. All rise for the voting. Nagasta asked. Those who are for the beast's proposal, please show up your hands. He then started counting. Those who are against the beast's proposal, please show up your hands. He counted again. Thank you, everyone. You may now sit. He turned back toward the 10 sitting on the red leather seats. 110 hands were raised and counted for the votes. No need to proceed for the undecided vote. Nagasta confirmed. Beside him, on the stage, the 3 generals already knew the results. Compared to Nagasta's, a late-phase Earth's core holder, their senses were above and beyond. Tell us what has been decided. The bearded man said with a hint of a smile. 96% against, 4% for. The 4 votes were merely a courtesy for the 3 generals. Third General let out a heavy sigh. Ladies and gentlemen of the United Governments of New Earth, you are all relieved from your duty. His sharp gaze made the bearded man choke. A coup? Some of the 10 called in question. First General, Second General, are you really supporting Third General's way of conduct? The old woman in the black and blue gown asked. We do. They both answered decisively. Can't you understand? By accepting the beast's proposal we will be throwing everything we fought for, every drop of blood that our soldiers shed through all these years. The ceasefire was meant to reassess our current progress, not to reevaluate the purpose of this war. Do you know why the beasts didn't attack during the ceasefire? Because they are not humans. Even with high intelligence they still show the restraint of a wild animal in front of a weaker enemy that won't give up a piece of the prey. They are frightened of our ability to adapt, and aware that it will make us stronger in the future. Veins popped up on the bald head of the bearded man, his face was tomato red, and in the conference hall all applauded. Pass our decision to the beasts and return to your posts, 3 generals. The bearded man looked down from his high seat. Nagasta, accompany them out. Yes, sir. Respectable 3 generals, please everything you fought for? Third General said in a low voice, and his aura lashed out. Nagasta, who was the closest to him, apart from the other 2 generals, jumped back trembling with fear he never felt before, the fear of being close to death. Striking spear, diamond shield. The woman in the red suit called in shock. Instantly, 2 groups of 10 men and women appeared between the stage and the owners of the red leather seats. One group's uniforms were blue and the other were purple. All 20 hid their faces behind black masks with no features. Be reasonable, Ariel, Thray, Jid, you are our most loyal soldiers for so many years. Just wait a few more, the war will be won and all of humanity will reap the benefits of the entire new earth. You will be heroes. And if then you will want to retire from the army and join us, I can guarantee that 3 red leather seats and 3 black wood tables will be waiting for you. The bald-bearded old man tried to persuade one last time. "We have made up our minds." Third general walked forward slowly. First general and second general, for what they will need to do, blackened their hearts. They will not betray their little brother or let him carry the burden alone. "You will take on 20 core breakers?" Beads of sweat slid from the forehead of the man in the pinstripe suit. No longer acknowledging his title as third general, a faint smile appeared on Jidchu Takeda's face.